about it, and I know that there's some contention, there's some discussion and debate about it, but they used to think that it was only a couple.
For centuries, believers and skeptics alike have argued about one thing: what did Jesus Christ really look like? We've all seen the familiar images: soft features, flowing hair, gentle eyes. But what if those depictions were never accurate? What if a hidden document, quietly preserved for nearly 2,000 years, described him in a way that the world was never prepared to accept? A description so detailed, so unlike anything shown in art or scripture, that it would send shockwaves through every historical account. Today, on Epoch Secrets, we're exploring one of history's most mysterious documents, the Letter of Lentulus, a supposed report from a Roman governor who claimed to have met Jesus in person. Many call it a forgery. Others swear it's the most accurate eyewitness account ever written. But once you hear what it says, you may never picture Jesus the same way again. Let's dive into a mystery the church never wanted to talk about: the mysterious document that appeared out of nowhere. The Letter of Lentulus isn't found in the Bible. It's not mentioned in early Christian writings. It suddenly appeared in medieval manuscripts, almost like it emerged from thin air. No one knows exactly where it came from, no one knows who preserved it, and no one knows why it lay hidden for so many centuries. But what makes the letter so frightening isn't just its sudden appearance, it's what it claims. The writer introduces himself as Publius Lentulus, supposedly a Roman governor of Judea before Pontius Pilate. He claims to have written to the Roman Senate, describing a man in the region who was performing miracles, gathering crowds, and sparking both admiration and fear. This man, Lentulus writes, looked nothing like the religious paintings created centuries later. He wasn't gentle, passive, or faint. He was intense, commanding, and almost otherworldly. The fact that a Roman official was describing him at all was strange, but the details would soon become even stranger: the appearance that defied tradition. According to the document, Jesus had a presence that made people freeze. Lentulus describes a man with piercing eyes so powerful you felt exposed in their gaze. The letter claims his hair wasn't short like a Roman's, nor was it perfectly manicured like traditional depictions. Instead, his hair fell down in waves, parted in the middle, almost reaching his shoulders. Not thin and fragile, but thick, dark, and commanding. His skin was not fair or pale. Instead, the letter describes a bronze, almost copper tone, exactly what you'd expect of someone spending years under the scorching Middle Eastern sun. It was a look that spoke of strength, endurance, and hardship. But nothing shocked readers more than how the letter described his expression: not delicate, not soft, but fierce, a look of authority, as if he knew everything you ever thought before you even opened your mouth. If the letter was real, it meant everything the world had been taught about Jesus's appearance was a sanitization, a softening of a figure who may have been far more powerful and intimidating than we imagined. The terrifying details about his presence. The letter goes on to describe Jesus's presence as unmistakably overwhelming. Lentulus writes that people followed him not simply because of his teachings, but because standing near him felt like standing near a force greater than anything human. His voice wasn't quiet or passive. It wasn't poetic or restrained. Lentulus describes it as thunder-like, capable of calming storms of fear or stirring people into emotional conflict. When he spoke, even those who despised him couldn't look away. And then there's the detail that frightened historians the most. The letter describes Jesus's eyes as bright and terrifying. Not terrifying because they were cruel, but terrifying because they saw right through you. Imagine standing in front of someone who understood your entire life, your guilt, your hopes, your secrets, without you ever saying a word. According to Lentulus, that is how it felt to meet Jesus. This alone could explain why both crowds and authorities reacted to him with such intensity, not because he was gentle, but because his presence forced people to confront themselves. The description of his power While Lentulus does not describe miracles in detail, he makes one very chilling comment. Where Jesus walked, people felt a strange calm, a silence that seemed unnatural, as if the world paused for him. This is one of the most unsettling elements of the letter. It suggests that Jesus did not simply preach, it suggests that reality itself reacted to him. Lentulus implies Jesus radiated authority, almost like a king who didn't need an army, a man who could walk into a room and instantly shift its atmosphere. And for a Roman governor, someone accustomed to commanding soldiers, to describe another man this way, that alone would have been considered dangerous. It's no surprise the document was never embraced by the Roman Church. A Jesus too powerful, too intense, too real, could frighten followers used to the gentler portrayal crafted over centuries. The impossible contradictions. But here's the puzzle. No historical sources outside this letter ever mention a governor named Publius Lentulus. No Roman records list him. No government documents from the era reference him. So, how did this letter appear? Who wrote it? And why did it describe Jesus in such detail? Some scholars argue the letter was forged in the Middle Ages by someone trying to give Jesus a more human, physical description. But that theory collapses when you look closely. The descriptions match Semitic features, not medieval European imaginations. The writing style reflects Roman bureaucratic tone, something almost no medieval forger could emulate accurately. And the portrayal of Jesus as intimidating and fierce matches early Christian writings far closer than later religious art. So, if it was a forgery, it was a perfect one. And no one has ever explained how or why. The haunting paradox. The most terrifying part of the letter isn't the description of Jesus at all. It's how the letter portrays the reaction to him. Lentulus writes that crowds either burst into tears at his presence or fell silent with fear. Anyone who saw him felt a pull, a gravitational force of personality that no ordinary person could produce. He says Roman soldiers refused to lay hands on Jesus unless ordered. Some trembled in his presence. They weren't afraid of his followers. They weren't afraid of his teachings. They were afraid of him. This description aligns eerily well with gospel accounts where officers sent to arrest Jesus returned empty-handed, saying, "No man ever spoke like this man." If the letter is real, it suggests Jesus wasn't passively followed by the weak. He was actively feared by the powerful. That truth alone would reshape the entire narrative of his life. The physical features that shocked historians. Another unsettling element is how specific Lentulus gets about Jesus's facial features. He describes a high forehead, a strong, well-shaped nose, a beard the color of chestnut wood, eyes that shifted between light and dark depending on his expression. These features match modern archaeological reconstructions of Middle Eastern men from his era, not traditional European artwork. Even the beard description matches genetic studies, suggesting ancient Judean men often had reddish or chestnut tones in facial hair. How could a medieval forger know this centuries before modern science? Every time one theory forms, it collapses under new evidence. The letter's most controversial line. There is one sentence in the letter that rattled theologians. One line that caused the document to be suppressed, dismissed, or ignored. Lentulus writes, "He is the most beautiful among the sons of men." Not beautiful in the delicate sense. Beautiful meaning captivating, dangerously compelling, a beauty that unsettled rather than comforted. For the religious authorities of later centuries, this description was problematic. A Jesus too alluring, too strong, too commanding, didn't fit the image the church had carefully built over time. A softer Jesus is easier to worship. A weaker Jesus is easier to control. This Jesus, the one in Lentulus's letter, felt like a force of nature, and that version frightened institutions that preferred a quieter figure. Theories about its origin. Some believe the letter was copied from an earlier, now lost Roman document. Others argue it comes from a Jewish convert who wanted to preserve an eyewitness description. A few believe it is secretly authentic, but was erased from official history to protect political narratives of the time. And there is one more theory, rare but fascinating, that the letter was written by someone who truly saw Jesus, someone who could not reveal their identity, someone who knew the danger of documenting the physical presence of a man believed to be divine. No theory has ever fully explained the letter's existence, and that is where the haunting truth lies, the spiritual implications. If the letter is real, it changes everything. It presents a Jesus who was not just a gentle teacher, but a deeply commanding presence, a man whose physical appearance alone could break crowds into silence, a figure whose authority was felt before he even spoke. The letter paints him as someone you couldn't take your eyes off, someone who made you confront your deepest truths simply by looking at you. This is not the Jesus of paintings, not the Jesus of children's books, not the gentle shepherd. This Jesus was intense. This Jesus was unstoppable. This Jesus shook the foundations of an empire with nothing more than his presence. And that might be why his description was forgotten, buried, or erased, not because it was false, but because it was too powerful. And maybe that's why this document was never meant to be widely known, because some truths are too powerful, too disruptive, and too revealing for the world to handle. If you want more deep dives into history's forbidden documents, hidden mysteries, and secrets that rewrite what we think we know, make sure you subscribe to Epoch Secrets, because here, we reveal the stories the world tried to bury. Until next time, stay curious, stay awake, and remember, some secrets aren't hidden, they're just ignored.